Ready? What's his brother's name? What's your name? What's your name? Huh? Mahyaz. You ready? I like him because he writes before all of you. All of you write, but okay. Can someone remind me where we stopped last time?
We were going through the Arkan Salah and we did Qiyam.
You finished Qiyam?
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know. You have to check your notes.
No, we did Hanafis, Malikis, Qiyam, yeah? Now, it's not much different for Shafi'is, Hanbalis. Let's quickly go through them. Bismillah, salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah ma ba'd. What do Shafi'is say about Qiyam for someone who cannot do Qiyam independently properly due to illness or an excuse? So this is what we were discussing for Ahnaf and Malikis, for what to do if you can't do Qiyam properly. The Shafi'i say, if one cannot stand, do you remember what the Hanafis say? Hanafis say no leaning whatsoever. Yeah? Malikis say lean up to the last resource you can find. There are two opposites, yeah? Even same before you go to sitting. And sitting down, you lean if you can before you go to lying on your side. So if one cannot stand, according to the Shafi'i view, the famous view within Shafi'i madhab, if one can't stand, i.e. he can't keep his spine straight, then before going to sitting down, but if he can't stand but while leaning on one of his sides or leaning forward a bit, then he should do that. And that wouldn't nullify his salah. Yeah? If you can't stand straight, but he can stand to his one of his side or forward or leaning on one side. Because they say what is easy doesn't nullify what is difficult. If something is difficult, then you do what is easy from it. Yeah? Also, they say, if standing is extremely difficult, i.e. someone has dizzy head and he fears falling down, then he should sit however he wants. Sit however he wants. Why is this important? What did the previous two madhab say about sitting? You remember? Yeah, the Ahnaf, they said, sit whichever way you can. Tashahhud way is preferred, but it's not. Or sit down and your feet towards the Qibla. Malikis, they said, for the bit which is the badal for standing and ruku will be cross-legged, and for sujood and tashahhud will be if you can do that, the tashahhud sitting. Shafi'is, they say, you can sit how you want because of the hadith of Imran bin Hussein we covered last time. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to him, stand and pray, and if you can't, sit and pray. So there is no specific sitting mentioned. So just sit the way it is possible for you. And naturally, the way you sit in the salah is the sitting of salah. If you can't do that, it's always preferred. But if you are unwell, whatever's easy for you. But if you are sitting and praying, there's many ways you can sit, but it's best to align your forehead with your feet. Like in tashahhud, or if you put your feet straight. So align your head, your face towards your feet. So that's the best way of sitting. So this way, while you are sitting, you're looking at the place of sajda. Because when you are standing, you are naturally looking towards, in Salah, you're supposed to look at the place of your sajda, right? So if you are sitting and you sit in a position where you can still do that, then that's the best option you have. And even if it's not the sitting of the tashahhud, but it's the sitting, however is easy for you. But you must not sit in a way which is funny, or a sitting of a dog or a monkey, or sit how maybe if there is a sitting which is not considered a decent way of sitting, or when people look at you say, this is how you sit in toilet, like we here in Pakistan, people sit in a certain way. Don't sit in that way, because it has to be a dignified way of sitting. Unless you have no other way of sitting, that's the only way you can. But naturally, because we are saying sit the way you like, you sit in a dignified manner. You don't take a sitting, because I can sit the way I want. Sit a way which is suitable to be sitting in your salah. If a person cannot even sit, it is afdal, it is best to lie on his side, the right side, facing the Qibla. Do you understand? We've said the last week as well, what do we mean, lie on the right side, facing the Qibla? Imagine I am lying down and this is a floor. Yeah, this is a floor and I'm lying down and there's a pillow here. And that's so my face is towards Qibla. So if this was a floor here, on my side, and there's a pillow here and I'm lying down, then that's the Qibla. So you pray lying down like this. So this is on the floor and I'm like this, So you say Allahu Akbar, and then for ruku you can move your head if you can. If you can't do that, then don't move your head. But this is how you would pray. Your feet would be like your whole body. It's as if like someone sleeping on first saf on his right side and taking place of 6 people. Yeah. So you can see towards the Qibla. So if someone can't sit down, he will lie down on his right. But if for any reason he cannot lie down on his right, whether it be a medical reason or pain or whatever reason, is he cannot lie down on his right, then he will lie down on his left side doing the same thing. And if he can't do that either, then normally the Shafi'i says makruh to lie down on the left. But if he can't do on the right, then he must. And if he can't even do that, then he would lie down on his back, but not like the other madhab. They said lie down straight on his back and feet towards the Qibla. They said there must be a pillow or something to raise him a little bit if he can. Still feet towards the Qibla, but not lying down all the way on the floor, but have something like a pillow to just raise him a little bit so he can pray towards the Qibla while lying down. Just raise his head, or if he can, a little bit. Okay? The only exception is if he's inside Kaaba, then he can lie down fully. But who gets to pray there? Illa masha'Allah. If a person is praying where he is gesturing for ruku and sujood, for sajda and ruku, he cannot do them, but he is gesturing from his head or his body, then the gesture for ruku and sujood will be differentiated by the fact that ruku will be a little bit lesser than sujood. So he will do more of a gesture, going further down for sajda. Yeah? What people do when they pray, you can't do sajda or ruku. But let's say these were my laps here. So for ruku, people do this, and sujood, people do that. They go forward. Yeah? Don't do that. Your hands stay just straight down. Yeah? What if a person can't even do that? The Ahnaf, they said, if he can't make a single movement of the body, can't do an action, then he will delay the salah. he will not pray from his eyes or imagination. He has to make the salah up, even if he prays it. Yeah? You remember that? Shafi'is, they say that if a person is unable to make a movement, he can't even lie down and do gestures for salah, then he should just imagine the actions of salah and do the recitation. And if he cannot even do the recitation, he should just imagine the actions of salah and read the recitation in his heart. Meaning, as long as a person is conscious enough to know it's time to pray, the prayer is obligation on him, and then he will do what he can from it. Like the Maliki said, if he can do the niyyah, he has to pray. They say if he can, he's not exempt from praying. No one's exempt from praying. If he, we have already covered, a person can't do wudu, will do tayammum, can't do tayammum, pray without it. Yeah? Or not pray, different madhahib. If a person can't do no actions, but he knows, he's conscious enough to know time for salah, Shafi'i say, if he can't even move, he can't even move his lips, he can't even read, then he will just do the salah in his mind, imagining the actions of salah, and in his heart reading if he can't read. Yeah? The Shafis, they don't prefer to, they leave that as a last option for a person to lie down on the floor and pray. Yeah, so they say a person should stand or sit or be lying down on something, little bit raised. Yeah. What we say, ittija'. That's called ittija' when you are on something like a pillow, or you are leaning on something. And the word we used last lesson, mustalqiyan, when you are on your back. They don't prefer that. That has to be the last option. That's why we said last time a person can pray standing for nafil, because nafil, the qiyam is not fard. He can sit down if he wants. Yeah, and the hadith we mentioned last time, if a person is sitting down and praying, he has half the reward of the one who is standing. And if the one who is lying down and praying, he has half the reward of the one who is sitting and praying. That's for nafil salah. Shafi'i say the same. They say in nafil a person should do qiyam, but if he doesn't want to, he sits down and prays his nafil for no reason, no excuse, he can do that. And if he wants to do ittija', when he is leaning on something, lying down but not completely flat on the back, then he can do that. But they say he cannot do salah lying down on the back, the one we said you can do inside Kaaba for them. Yeah, you wouldn't do that. If a person was ill, unwell, and he had to pray sitting down or lying down on his right side, or however the person prayed, whichever extreme he went to, he prayed, he does not need to repeat the salah in the Shafi'i madhab, even though we know from the previous lessons that many times, I mentioned the last lesson, that they say salah should be repeated. You remember in the lessons of najasa and the mahbus, someone in the prison, so on, dirty clothes, no clothes, yeah. But in this case, a person will not need to, if it's for due to the illness and excuse, doesn't need to repeat the salah. That's everything for Shafi'i madhab. Now we can move on.